Words to live by. You join me in my library today. So I'm going to try and blast through this as quickly as possible. Yes, I did get asked the question, is it even worth it? Is it even cleaner to drive an EV if it's powered by dirty electricity? I will post some links to some studies and information below. The short answer is yes. You can do your own research, and please do, but it is abundantly clear that driving an EV under any circumstance is going to be cleaner than driving an ICE vehicle over the life of the vehicle. So in my situation, I have solar and my energy is clean energy coming into my home, even from the grid. For those who don't have those luxuries, so it's still going to be cleaner than driving a gas vehicle. I just want to put this out there for you. If you think that that may not be true, what you're doing every time you turn the key in an internal combustion vehicle, right, is setting fire to fuel. Okay, and so for every gallon of oil or of fuel you use, of gasoline you use, it typically takes a little over 2 gallons of crude to make. So it's not even about just the oil that's going into your car. On top of that, you're drilling down, pumping it out of the ground, shipping it somewhere, refining it, trucking it somewhere, putting it into your car, and setting it on fire. Yes, it is dirtier than driving an EV, even when you're using a coal power plant to fuel your EV. Rivians and some other EVs do have oil in them and do need oil changes. My Rivian does not need oil changes, ever. They use oil for lubrication and cooling of the drive motors. Some EVs, like the quad motor R1S, do require an oil change at 112,000 miles. So the amount of oil you're using, it's a tiny little bit of oil that you change once every 112,000 miles. So even in circumstances where you are going to be changing oil, you are not setting fire to oil in your motor to make it work. It is a much cleaner method of traveling. I think so many people view EVs as penalty boxes, and for those people, I would urge them, if you're not motivated by climate and going green and breathing better air, then go and drive one. I don't know if anyone has ever walked to a dealership and said, give me your slowest, loudest, most expensive to operate car. Because that's what an ICE is. EVs are faster. That's just how they work. I don't think that's a particularly great selling point for me as a dad with kids and everything else. Like I've said, it's a blast, it's fun, but EVs are faster, they're exponentially more efficient, they will cost you less. And then on top of that, your time to go down to the dealership and get the oil changed or that kind of thing done, you're gonna be using more of your own time. Even if you do your own oil changes like I did, you're gonna be using more of your own time. The oil costs you money, fuel costs you money, and the price of fuel varies enormously. Whereas the reality is, maybe this doesn't work for everybody, but most people can power their own EVs with their home like I do. I have solar panels on the roof. I do think I'll add more, and a battery system, because that's just how the grid and energy works these days. But I can put enough solar on my house that I cover 100% of my electricity. You cannot add an oil refinery to your home. So for people who are worried, what happens if the power goes out? You can make your own fuel. If the power goes out, you also can't use a gas pump. They need power, they need electricity to pump fuel out. So there are so many reasons. Please, if you are on the fence, go drive an EV. There are so many great ones, that drive and feel just like a normal car does. They don't have to be funky like a Tesla if that's not what you're into. But please, go and drive one. That's what hooked my wife and I on the Mustang Mach-E. They are amazing cars. I highly recommend that if you haven't ever driven one, like we hadn't at the beginning of the year, go drive one. If you're ready for a used vehicle, don't be afraid. Just do a little homework on EVs. We bought a used one as well, and it's been really superb. The Mach-E is amazing. It's very much like a normal car. And the Rivian is amazing. It is not a ton like a normal car. So one pedal driving is something you might have to look into. But most EVs let you turn that off. EVs can be whatever you want them to be. So if you want a fast car, get one. If you want an economy car that's just really efficient, get one. If you want an off-roader, you can get one now. There's the ID Buzz van coming. There are so many options that I genuinely believe you can find an ICE vehicle and an EV counterpart to every ICE vehicle out there. Whatever you're into, they're fun to drive, they're efficient, there's very little, if any, downsides compared to an ICE vehicle. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out, ask me, do your own research, go drive one. And okay, if you're not into it, it's not for you. I'm certainly not forcing you into one, but I highly recommend them. I just don't see a downside to them for 90% or more of people in the US. You can make it work. So that's my spiel. That's why I think you should go look at EVs. You know, they're fast, they need less maintenance, you can fuel them at home, so even if the power goes out, you can, if you have the right setup, fuel your own vehicle and never worry about fuel again. So if you're worried about the apocalypse, go get an R1S and some solar, you're set. Alrighty, have a great one, everybody.